Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Maconomics, brought to you by State Farm. I'm your host, Ross Mack, and I'm here to try to help you get to a bag and help you protect the future you deserve. We got a new caller calling. Talk to me, what you got?
Hey, Ross, my son looking like he not about to beat my retirement plan. He got his athleticism from his mama. Help me out, G, and let me know if I'm on track for retirement.
Hey, look, man, I actually love the question. And retirement ain't something you could just wing it with, right? You got to have a plan. And the earlier you start, the better it's going to get. And the sad truth is that more than half of Americans are already behind on their retirement savings. So you only right, man. Let's discuss where you are to see if you're on pace or behind. And regardless, right, the goal is to know where you stand, see if we actually got to catch up to it. Now, I'm going to say some numbers, and this is how much you want to have saved and invested by each age. By age 30, you want to have 1 times your annual salary. At age 40, you want to have 3 times your annual salary. By the time you get to age 50, you want to have 6 times your annual salary saved and tucked away and obviously invested. By the time you get to age 60, you want to have 8 times your salary. And by age 67, you want to have 10 times your annual salary. I know it sounds like a lot, but here's why these numbers matter. Because when you retire, you still got to cover housing, healthcare, food, and a little bit of traveling. So basically your entire lifestyle, you got to still be able to fund this without a paycheck coming in. As a matter of fact, when you actually think about your lifestyle, another way to think about your retirement is you got to ask yourself, how much are my annual expenses? So therefore think rent, mortgage, food, etc. Whatever that number is, you could then multiply that by 25 times. So say, look, if you want to still keep living comfortably, you'll need a nest egg that is going to be able to generate income for the rest of your life. That's why it's called the 25 times rule. And it literally means you should be able to withdraw 4% of your savings each year and live off that in retirement. So say your annual bills are about $80,000 per year. That's about $6,700 per month. Now I know that might seem high for just your living expenses, but you also got to take into account more than just your normal bills. You retire, right? You might want to take 3 vacations per year. So that $80,000 may actually be accurate. Therefore, for retirement, you want to have $80,000 times 25, which equals $2 million. So that means if you got about $2 million conservatively invested in a tax-free bond, you can safely withdraw about 4% a year, which is $80,000 without running out of money. So look, whatever your lifestyle number is, you want to calculate that annually and multiply that by 25, and that's your retirement target. So it's best to sometimes even work backwards. Now look, if those numbers sound a little scary, don't panic, right? It's not about perfection, it's just making sure you're in the right direction. The goal is to put a plan in motion so that you can stay consistent about it, right? Most people are for sure behind on their retirement savings. But it's always good news, right? You still got time to catch up. And if you know what your targets are, it's going to be a whole lot easier to hit it. So how do you actually hit these targets, right? First things first, you got to start early. The earlier you invest, the more time you have for compounded interest to actually work in your favor. Step 2, please take advantage of that 401k, especially if your job is matching your contributions. After all, that's free money, free bands. Then next, use your IRAs and Roth IRAs for the tax advantages. And then you always need to be increasing your contributions every time you get a raise. And then lastly, please avoid the lifestyle creep, right? Just because you're making more money don't mean you need to be spending more money, right? Look, man, here's the bottom line. Retirement is coming, whether you're ready for it or not, right? And the best time to actually start stacking your money was probably yesterday. But the second best time is to start right now. Every dollar that you invest today is obviously working harder for your future version of yourself. And I need you to remember something. You cannot save your way to wealth. You got to lower your expenses and treat investing like it's a bill, because your future obviously going to depend on it. Now, where do you actually invest that money? The first place I always recommend is the S&P 500, because on average, that's going to get you about 10% each year. And after that, I definitely recommend getting into the Maconomics Premier Investing Club. It's only right. But look, man, great question, man, and I really hope that helps. And remember, setting up a good financial habits today will set you up for a better success tomorrow. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Next caller, talk to me, what you got?